Well, hi everyone, and welcome to the inaugural show where I talk with my mate Tom,
Hello.
and we just discuss what's going on around Knowsville, aka Birmingham. You
Yeah.
work in Lichfield though, so on reruns. So, Tom, what's been going on?
Well, today actually, funnily enough, I was in Birmingham on a
Okay.
weekday
Yeah.
morning, which is unusual.
Unusual.
I noticed kind of quite a few queues outside the law court for people, I assume spectators or for the public gallery. People wanted to get in, and I'd never seen that before.
Okay.
And then the other thing I saw was from an upstairs window, barristers preparing for their day in court.
This is from the bus.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. What were they doing?
Well, the one was necking what I assume was a can of Monster or some your energy drink poison of choice.
Yeah.
And then the other gentleman was putting on his robes and being bigged up by one of his colleagues, and it was definitely like a motivational kind of thing.
Yeah, big case then.
That's yes.
Anyway, so yes, you saw all of this from the bus.
Yes. Yeah.
And we talked about stuff that you see on the bus that's a bit unusual. And what have you seen on the bus recently? I mean, there's a lot that goes on on buses in the West Midlands.
So I've seen a very strange occurrence twice in the last 2 weeks.
What was it?
Basically, a lady gets on the bus and basically goes around each of the fellow passengers and says, excuse me, I'm diabetic. Have you got any food or money or money to buy food? And I obviously didn't have any food and I didn't have any cash, so
what did you do?
Well, she just walked around, and I mean, the second time I saw this lady, I think it was during the weekday,
right?
And basically, she literally went upstairs and sort of practically chased the poor bloke who got on the bus, and and eventually she got off.
Yeah.
But in the sort of 10, 15, 20 minutes that she'd been on the bus, we'd passed at least 10 places where you could have conceivably bought food, or maybe even got cash as well.
Yeah. Do you feel though, Tom, she was just on the scam?
Well, that was my cynical observation. That was my cynical conclusion, because I think obviously being diabetic, it can be very obviously very serious, and I won't want to trivialise that. But part of me also thinks that if you know you need food, and when you literally got on at like somewhere like Tesco, like it's a very big Tesco where I live, or there's other shops, not just Tesco. There's news agents and stuff like that. You would sort of think, if you knew you had that condition, then you would at least be aware of the signs of and you dread to think kind of where it might lead to.
Yeah, well, I mean, you are one of the good-hearted people who believe that story. Because let me tell you, Tom, I wouldn't have believed that story, as you know.
It seemed a bit. It seemed a bit weird, didn't it? Well, to me, anyway, it seemed a bit of a weird one.
Yeah.
And the fact it happened, I can understand it happening once, but the fact it's happened twice suggests it's a bit of a performance, let's say.
Yeah. Because we have had this conversation before, haven't we? Because I've noticed that when we've been around and about, and you see people asking for money, you are inclined to try and, kind of give them something. Whereas I try and, kind of melt away. And
I think it depends on the situation, because obviously, I mean, you can't see this on camera, but I am quite a small man.
Well, relatively
small compared to most people, beggars and sort of charity muggers, and they will target people on their own and not really sort of minding their own business, if you like.
Yeah.
And I mean, it does encourage me to be more mindful and not just standing still. Well, yeah. I mean, over the years, I haven't seen the one guy, but there was one guy that basically was asking, if you got 20p, if you got 20p, if you got 20p, and it, because due to the cost of living, it actually increased to, have you got 50p? I mean, the last
some of them have got card readers.
I mean, to be fair, that's another thing that annoys me. Not earlier in the year. What am I talking about? Last year, I was talking to a friend I hadn't seen in a while, and it was next to the big issue guy. in my local high street.
Uh-huh.
And so my friend bought a big issue because he's a very kind-hearted religious man.
Nice.
And I ended up buying a big issue as well. And then every time I see this big issue man, he's always wanting me to buy one. And the other problem is that he always, have you got cash? And when I do buy from it, he complains, oh, do you not have cash? It's like, well, I get annoyed by this. I feel like I'm doing you a favour by buying the thing in the first place.
Well, you are.
Yeah, and the fact that you're sort of, I'm not going to go out of my way to get cash out just so I can give you £5 of a £10 note.
To be honest, Tom, as you know, I'm amazed that you're contemplating, the fact that you might not be kind enough because you're not willing to pay by card.
Well, it now gets to the point where I literally have to. I find another route down to this high street, down to what I actually want to go into, which you're probably well aware of what my main addiction is.
Oh yeah.
No, nothing bad, nothing illegal, Don't worry.
Yeah, no, it's just we'll come to that one time.
But so basically, what I mean, in the past, I probably would have gone to like Sainsbury's to get, but because this guy stood outside, because it's a good, I don't want to be bothered.
Yeah, but don't you think though, Tom? He's so kind-hearted, and you're so, kind of conscious that you're not, in your view, being kind enough, that you are taking yourself out of your way. And I think this is one of the areas that we differ on, because I think we've had this conversation a number of times. It's a psychological tactic, isn't it? Making you feel
great sympathy,
obliged.
Yeah.
And yet, I know that you always do this, and you're kind of aware of it, but you still do it. Well, it's actually kind of pulling on the heartstrings. It's a well-known psychological tactic.
Yes, yeah.
But and you've said to me before, you just give them like £1 or something. I've said back to you that as soon as you give something, they kind of clock your face.
Yeah.
And I know that there are genuine people, but a lot of people. Interestingly enough, we met somebody as we were waiting to come in and do the recording, didn't we?
Yes, and actually, I think we met her in King's Heath previously as well, selling something else. I think the thing is, what might be charming on Only Fools and Horses suddenly becomes kind of less charming in a way when it's people clearly peddling.
Yeah, well, in this case, two pairs of women's boots, bizarrely.
Well, that might be something you're on the market for.
Well, as I said to you about an hour ago, I am actually looking for some hiking boots. But
you're not going to know.
For one split second, I thought, should I ask her?
No,
because somebody came in and
she didn't have the boots.
She said. She came and sat down. I noticed she sort of like shuffled closer to sitting next to me. Did you notice that?
No, well, I think she'd been round the pub where we were.
Okay, I didn't.
And sort of asked everyone, and then kind of,
I was the last hope.
Yes.
Anyway, she sat down and she said, excuse me, she said, I've got 2 pairs of women's boots. But I kind of guessed that she didn't have hiking boots. I don't know why. So,
no.
So we just said no, didn't we? So.
Well, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We said no. Yeah.
I think the other week it was chocolate tulips for Valentines,
which is this weekend, Tom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that brings me on to, what are you doing for Valentines?
I'm going to a karaoke evening in Lichfield, or a pub outside of Lichfield. Got a Facebook invite of sorts, and
okay.
So I thought I'd give it a try. We'll see.
Good luck.
We'll see what happens.
Good luck in that.
I
hope it's a great night.
Yeah, I hope it is as well. Some people, it can be kind of a negative kind of time.
Yeah.
I suppose if you're not, if like me, for example, you're not in a relationship, or if you've broken up from your partner, lost your partner somehow,
or just single,
or
happy like that.
Well.
Oh no, you wouldn't be into Valentines. You wouldn't be into Valentines if you were single and happy,
Well,
I suppose.
Exactly.
Well,
it's a bit like Christmas, and but in the same time, it can be difficult for some people.
It can, Tom. It can.
And it makes you, because it kind of makes you feel. I mean, I notice there isn't like a singles day,
No, maybe we should start one.
I don't. I mean, it's a bit like
Tom. I think in Knowsville,
yeah.
there should be
There we go. Where's
a
our petition?
singles day. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to start it because this is right in Knowsville's territory. I think.
I mean, it's a bit. It's not. I mean, every International Women's Day they go. Is there a International Men's Day? And it turns out there is in November.
Right. So, I want to celebrate it as well.
There's definitely, there's all sorts of international days for all sorts of ridiculous stuff.
There is, yeah. I mean, it is ridiculous, though, isn't it?
It gets silly, but I'm happy to be corrected, unless there is actually an International Singles Day, but it doesn't really come up, does it?
Probably isn't.
Oh,
we haven't properly researched it, Tom. This is the problem that we have when we do a show.
No, exactly.
There is no research guaranteed into this. It's like literally what we are going to be talking about.
Just whatever we talk about. Yeah, it just comes into my head. Yeah.
Just thinking about the hard done by stuff. Wasn't there something else you were talking about?
The what now?
I'll cut this out.
I mean, this isn't the first time I've been approached on public transport.
Hold on, because I'm just flapping through this. So, well, we can keep this in. Right. I
mean, to be fair, the whole business with on the bus isn't the first time I've been approached on public transport.
What for? What for, Tom? What have you been approached for?
Well,
mind boggles.
So, nearly 10 years ago, I went to Paris for a couple of days.
All right. Was that linked to Valentines?
No, I just wanted to go. Okay. I wanted to go and see Jim Morrison's grave.
No, okay.
That's probably not the best sort of reason to go.
No, it's a good reason to go.
Well, I'd like to go again with someone else.
Yeah.
Because it is a city of love, etc.
Yeah.
That aside. Anyway, I went. So I was. It was. I went in sort of mid-August. It's very warm, very hot. A lot of Parisians actually leave the city because they go on holiday.
I thought you said a lot of prisoners leave the city.
No, a lot of Parisians. You never know. Yeah. They could go as well. They could go. They could go on a nice little summer holiday to Marseille.
Okay, so a lot of Parisians.
So a lot of Parisians who would normally be resident of Paris.
Yeah, they've gone.
They've gone because either it's too warm or they just don't want to change the scenery. Yeah. Anyway, I went on the metro train, and like similar to the Underground.
Yeah.
But French.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Anyway, this woman who I sort of assumed was a gypsy had a headscarf, and anyway, she was clearly.
Is that what gave her away as a gypsy, having a headscarf?
Well, as I said, I see. Anyway, she was asking for money.
Right.
And I said in my best French, "Je suis désolé. I'm sorry." No.
That was good.
Yeah. But she persisted in and ended up actually taking my bottle of water.
It doesn't surprise me, Tom, because you're so, like somebody might come up to you and grab you a bottle of water.
What was maybe more disturbing was the fact she brought it back and gave it back.
Half drunk.
I wasn't quite sure. Oh. Maybe she'd taken a sip from it. I don't know.
Maybe she didn't like the water.
I don't know. But I mean, there was another lady in the compartment, and she was like the sort of French equivalent of "what the fuck."
Yeah.
She was very weirded out by that behaviour.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a bit odd. But bringing it back, I mean, it's kind of nice though. It's like I don't want to take from you. I want to share with you. Well, so it's that sort of thing.
I've not had anything so far happen that odd.
It's not that odd, to be honest, Tom, in the scale of things, but
odder
things have happened to you. Odder things have happened to you.
That's true, but I mean, sometimes in the UK, I was once walking in my local area, North Birmingham, and somebody in the car sort of stopped. This is when I was like 17 and had more acne, and he was recommending treatments
for acne.
Yeah, and it's like thanks. I of all things on that day, I didn't really want to get talked to by a stranger about treatments.
I think he was probably taking the piss, so Tom, to be honest. Like shouting, "Do you want treatment for your acne?"
No, but he was actually recommending products.
Okay.
It was
maybe it was advanced heckling of you.
Yeah. And I mean, then there was another time when on the same stretch of road when I think there was this lady who clearly had dementia,
right?
And but basically she was knocking the window of this thing, and I walked out, and she was talking about they're keeping me prisoner, help me, you got to help me. And I mean, obviously, I didn't know what to. I went next door and knocked the door, and the guy opened the door. He clearly pissed off. He said, "You're the fifth person."
Oh.
No, no, she's got dementia, and they're not there.
It's kind of sad, though, isn't it? Very sad.
It's very sad. You don't quite know what to sort of do in that kind of circumstance, because you can't really kind of help. And I mean, to be fair, that is kind of another thing. How far do you go in your sort of, do you call the police? They're probably not interested. Do you call social services? No, because the adult affected has to kind of contact social services.
No, well, I mean, I think you can intervene as a concerned person, Tom. But you are a concerned person, is what I was going to say.
Okay.
Anyway, we're on to our next subject matter, which is the bin strike. Which there's a bin strike in Birmingham. There's industrial action, and bins have not been collected for like 6 weeks or something.
Oh,
and it's caused major strife in the area, as you can imagine.
I had noticed that my recycling hadn't been collected in sort of 2 days.
2 days?
Well, I put it... I'm
talking 6 weeks here, Tom.
No, I know, but I don't always put my recycling out, just general laziness.
Yeah. Tom must have been the only person in the city who hadn't noticed there was a bin strike on, which I felt was kind of amusing, but... It's because what was your reason for not noticing, which I thought was quite interesting as well?
I just hadn't put bins out. I'd obviously put stuff into bags and sort of was intended to do it, but I just
forgot.
I'm a busy person. I forget, and then sometimes
you're a jet set bloke, aren't you? Really?
I'm a set bloke
without the jets. Yeah.
But I just I don't know. It's
passed you by, which is good because you avoided the stress of the rest of us who basically have just been sitting there in hope when we put our bins out the previous evening, and then the next day you literally there with your fingers crossed, thinking, please have taken the rubbish, and it's still there.
I mean, I think like some areas of Birmingham, the streets are the houses on the streets are very compact. They're all very close together.
Yeah.
You don't have like the drive.
Yeah. You're talking about my home, aren't you, really?
I was referring to your home, but there's other streets.
It's humble.
Yes. There's other streets in like Borsall Heath or Allen Rock or parts of Selly Oak and all over the shop really. Where it's all very compact. There's no kind of room for all the cars. They're on the pavement or complete
people with drives and garages.
Where there's much more space.
There is much more space.
It's not so bad. But obviously, if it's not being collected for weeks and weeks, it builds up, and it does look disgusting. And it can, and I suppose it can be an
health hazard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, I was thinking
rats as well.
Exactly. Yeah, it builds up.
Yeah.
And obviously. I must admit, I've not been, as you can tell, I've not been following the bin strike. So,
what else can we talk about?
My baguette story.
Oh, what was
the
that?
Hot food story.
The hot food. Yeah. Yeah.
Last weekend, I had another very strange encounter.
Really? What happened?
So I was waiting for a bus out of Birmingham, and I was approached by a bloke who wanted me to go and get some food for him, and he wanted.
You're always being approached by people in this way.
Well,
and yet they seem to leave me. I think they can tell that I'm a bit of a hard case, really.
And anyway, I'd actually bought a baguette, and so I offered this. I just went, you know what? Just have this. Let's have. No, he's went. No, I want hot food. I want to go there. He points to a particular store.
What, you say that again? He wanted what?
He wanted hot food.
He wanted hot food.
Yeah,
not your baguette, which you were offering him.
Yes, because my sort of feeling is like, for God's sake, come on, I don't want to book because I'm waiting for a bus that was already late and might turn up.
Yeah.
And
I don't think you need to justify yourself, Tom, because most people would not give
it
someone
was
their baguette.
for me. It's like path of least resistance.
Okay.
So anyway, but he's like, no. So we end up going to this shop, and what does he order? A chicken tikka baguette, which was kind of hot. Well, the thing is that like
what did you give him?
I'd offered him a chicken tikka baguette.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So you know,
but that wasn't good enough because it wasn't hot.
Well, the thing is, they're different shops, but it's the same kind of thing. So there's no, to my mind, there's probably no difference. And the gentleman was clearly sort of you have to think of a polite way of putting it. There was clearly some kind of substance.
Oh right, so he was drugging.
Yeah, yes, there was clearly he clearly been taking something.
Right.
And anyway, and then the cashier at the shop goes, "Do you want anything else?" And then he starts ordering like a Coke. I'm like, "No, you only wanted food, so I'm only buying the baguette for you."
Put your foot down, Tom.
Well, yeah, because the end of the day, like I didn't want what was already an unpleasant experience to turn into someone else's shopping trip.
Yeah, well, to be honest, most people would not have given bought another baguette on the instruction of someone that wants a hot baguette rather than
it wasn't even
your baguette.
To my mind, it wasn't even hot, it might not have been even hot.
It wasn't even hot, but
it's just like
I think you're missing the point that like most people wouldn't have done that. Though.
Well,
but it's again
as discussed.
Exactly.
I think the thing is from now on, I will certainly be more careful about where I sort of. Oh, you got to move around. I mean, I've had sort of people that want they want drinks or it's just like it's a difficult thing really because
well,
because thing is if you're sort of if you're paying by card for example you can't exactly you can say that. Whereas if I say if you got any change you can just say no.
Yeah.
And it's probably legitimate most of the time.
The thing is though, Tom, you don't have to give people money and food and so on. I mean, and it sounds as if you're doing it partly because you feel so under pressure and scared that you feel that you've got to, but you don't have to do that because
they can get aggressive.
These are strategies.
I mean, to be fair, my friend Nathan, who you've interviewed on previous iterations of you.
Who?
Nathan.
Yeah.
So years ago, I went out with Nathan. I mean, Nathan, he went in and bought like a whole meal for somebody who was sat outside of his own volition. It's a really nice thing to do.
Yeah.
But
alternatively, someone like me who
wouldn't do anything.
Well, I mean, let's get this straight. It's not because I don't care about issues such as homelessness or drug addiction or whatever. No. I just understand psychology, and I know that the things that people are doing.
Well, yeah, it's sort of a it's a sticking plaster over a sort of a much wider wound.
Well, it's not really a sticking plaster even because it's not doing anything to to assist homelessness. It's only
it hopefully makes
some
it hopefully gives people a bit of food, but
well. I hate to break this to you, Tom, but some of the people are not short of food at all. It's like just the money is being used elsewhere. Well, I know it's a difficult issue to debate.
I'm a lot more careful about giving money out anyway, because but.
Didn't you have someone follow you to a cash point or something? Or
that was a couple of years ago. Yeah, I met someone else on a bus, and and then I did actually pursue that with the police because I thought it was quite an intimidating experience. And although they arrested someone, apparently it was their twin brother who had committed the crime.
This is so bizarre.
So it's just very, you just have to keep your wits about you, really. And I think the moment you let your guard down, some people will take advantage and put you in a position that it's quite difficult to get out of.
It's a hard one, Tom.
It's quite
a hard one.
So I mean, tonight, hopefully go back for a bang. I'll be careful. You do get some. There are some positions you just have to be. Sometimes it's very easy to say I'm sorry, no, and move on. But other times it sort of not. And at other time, that's but partly it's about how you ask it. I mean, the last time I saw the 20p man, as I discussed earlier, he was walking through the concourse of Birmingham New Street Station, and he's got a burger, and he's literally eating it. And I'd just been on a train journey. I'd been to Wembley that day, actually, for a football match, and I was already not in the most wonderful of moods.
Why did your team lose?
Yes,
okay.
But you know, and you know, this guy he's clearly not not like desperately poor. If you're kind of eating and going, you know, and I didn't say what I really would have liked to say, which involved a swear word, but
I would have though, as you know.
No, well, you know, I just said no and just moved on.
Yeah,
and
good.
Kind of gave him a look.
That's good.
And I haven't sort of, you know, I haven't seen him. And to be fair, if I do see him about, I do try and I just do avoid him.
Yeah, good.
Because I mean, there was one. I've read of one person who was actually sent to prison for aggressive begging. And I mean, I met, you know, I had misfortune to meet that gentleman several times. You know, when Alva never gave him anything. You know,
good.
He's always, you know, there's always like a swear word after it. You know, and it's like anyway.
Anyway, I think we've got the message.
We've
exhausted the topic a bit, and this, I mean, it's obviously like, you know, it's a controversial issue to some degree. Although I think, you know, like if there are people that genuinely think that everybody asking for money is genuinely homeless and you know and clean and of drugs and so on, they are a bit deluded. Yeah. But you know, people get into hard times for all sorts. One thing that I do know is that people get into hard times for all sorts of reasons. Often, you know, emotionally, like there's an emotional basis for it. Sometimes, if not often, due to relationship breakdown and so on, men are very reticent to talk about their emotions. Just before we came on air, so to speak. We did go for a bit of a drink.
Yes. And
we went to a pretty reasonably priced, I think we can say.
One of the few reasonably priced
hostelries. Yes. And the price of drinks gone through the roof.
Well, I obviously the cost of living hasn't helped anyone in any shape or form. But I went to a gig at a venue I've not been to before in Digbeth on Saturday night. And to my horror, a can of Red Stripe, which is probably the cheapest of the lagers in a can, was £6.50.
I don't know. Red Stripe is a classy lager, I think. Is it? I don't know.
It's a lager, you know. You know, it's like it's kind of common, but not as awful as Carling, for example.
I've never drank Red Stripe or Carling. Where was the venue, Tom?
Zumhof. It was Zumhof. So it's like normally it's like a beer garden kind of, you know, German kind of. I mean, the name Zumhof is
Zumhof. Yeah, it does sound
probably a clue. You know,
sounds Scandinavian.
So you know, it's in Digbeth, but like £6.50 for a can of Red Stripe. I mean, I remember I used to go into the Institute in Digbeth. You know, maybe it's like £4 for a can, and it's like, wow. He's a bit of, and I mean, to be fair, that's maybe not the worst offender, because I mean, you can pay up to £8 for a pint of Carling in
London.
I was going to say in the O2, the O2 Academy, on Bristol Street. Yeah. So that you know, that it can be very eye watering.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that this chat is going to date very quickly, because probably if we have it next year, it's probably going to be £10 or something. Yeah. But I was shocked by my £7.50 glass of medium glass of red wine in one of the places near me. So. And we were saying, how can people afford to go out? You know, especially young people on limited incomes.
They pre-drink. I mean, to be fair, you know, I'm obviously in my late 30s, and you know, as a student, sort of 15,
mid 30s.
Yeah, well, yeah. Anyway, as a student, sort of coming up to like 20 years or something like that since I've graduated, 15 years since I've finished. You know, we did used to sort of go around each other's houses and sort of drink before we went to clubs, but I don't remember it quite being as extortionate. Whereas I think most people will probably now just have house parties or, fork over, the nightclubs because, they're expensive. There's always, sometimes there's like a price to get in. Like, I mean, I've been out with people and, they charge you 12 quid to go in some places. And, there's nothing special.
It is shocking. I mean, like the price of living and the price of entertainment.
Yeah.
I mean, entertainment is becoming fairly exclusive, isn't it?
Yeah.
So going out is only for people who got, reasonably high income.
That's right. Yeah,
Whereas everybody used to be able to go to the cinema, have some snacks, and go for a drink. Now that whole evening is going to be beyond a lot of people.
And also, I suppose how late you can stay out is affected as well. I mean,
what do you mean about that?
Well, for example, in 2007, I'd sort of go out and then I'd get a taxi home and it'd be about £15.
Right.
This is not one of your pre-books or your Ubers or Bolt. This is in the days before.
Yeah.
You had those kind of services.
Yeah.
I'm talking about going to New Street Station and getting a taxi and that.
Yes, I do know Tom because I'm older than you.
I can remember
that. Yeah.
Fair enough. But as time has gone on, it's like 20, 25, 30, and and to be fair, like services like Uber and Bolt, they are kind of competitive.
Yeah.
In their own.
Are they? Okay.
They can be competitive. Like to be fair, like I've paid prices for taxis that I thought,
reasonable.
Yes.
Cheap even.
Yes. I mean, on was it Saturday night? Forgive me. On Friday night, I was also on Lower Trinity Street where there's an office. I went to the Night Owl.
Okay.
And I ended up getting a taxi for £11.
Wow, back to yours.
Yeah.
That's good value.
So, and I mean, to be fair, I actually gave him a tip because I actually kind of enjoyed the guy's company.
Nice. Perfect.
We had a good chat. Some of the stupid drive. We had a chat about some of the stupid driving.
I love a chat with a taxi driver. Don't you? It's so interesting.
I mean, I've had some interesting ones over the years.
Yeah.
Not drunken ones on my part.
Hopefully not on the driver's part.
I hope not. Yeah. No, that'll be interesting, wouldn't it? But no. Sometimes you can have very kind of quite illuminating conversations. I would sort of say, yeah.
So what you're saying though, back to our drinking thing and going out.
Yes.
When you can go out, it's great. It's an enriching experience, isn't it?
It can be.
But like the theatre is about £25 now.
Well, it depends what you're going to see.
Well, I don't know. That's kind of. I think that's about the minimum, isn't it? About £25.
I mean. I must admit, I wouldn't know.
In a bigger theatre.
Yeah, it can be kind of expensive time. I mean, admittedly, today I walked past the theatre and not been into the Crescent Theatre.
Oh yeah, I remember that from back in the days. Yeah.
I'm not being. I would like to go. I mean, I know about stuff.
Maybe we should go, Tom, and have a discussion. Or maybe not even have a discussion, just go and enjoy it. I think. I mean, to be fair, like even cinema is sort of going to cinema is expensive. It is. I mean, it's up to. I think full price is up to over about £25.
Yes, the last time I went to the cinema, I can remember anyway. I went to see Guardians of the Galaxy 3, so about 2 years ago. Okay. And we went to the Odeon Lux in Tamworth.
That sounds expensive.
Yes, it was about 23 quid a seat, and it's like, admittedly, part of that is sort of not pre-booking. Maybe you get cheaper prices if you booked in advance. Yeah,
no, I don't think you do actually. But how you do get cheaper in entry is the things like O2 Priority. I know it's a bit of a plug for O2 Priority, but you can get it. And also, like some of the chains, they have got £5 tickets if you book online.
Yeah.
So, but I think that they've started that because they couldn't shift enough of their tickets at these relatively high prices.
Well, quite, and I mean, I suppose there's other forms of entertainment, and a lot of films and TV shows are streamed on Netflix. or other
Paramount,
Prime,
there's loads.
Yeah, exactly. So it is very easy to literally just stay home and indulge from the comfort of your own bedroom or sofa or wherever you like to watch. I think the thing is, because there's so much choice, I end up kind of thinking, yeah, there's too much. There's, it's better not to.
Yeah, less choice is good.
Yeah.
Too much choice just makes you, kind of overwhelmed.
That's right.
This is another thing that, that I'm very conscious of in terms of psychology. But people kind of, they don't really appreciate that because we're sold a lot of choice, aren't we? As if it's fantastic, from everything from, the general economy and deregulation. And it sounds a bit like academic-y and, about economics. To, a store will say, oh, we've got this range of things. So so it's just a play on the way that, the brain works, really.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, obviously I'm sort of into my music and sort of,
you are.
You can go in a shop and sort of, because you've got so much choice, it can be a bit paralysing, maybe.
Yeah, overwhelming.
But I was talking to, before the recording, I was in the record shop, and, he put, Steve's a guy, he pointed, he's got a lot of CDs as well. He sells as many CDs as well as, vinyl, and even some people will sell tapes, cassette tapes.
Oh, they're really sought after now.
And
tapes.
Personally, I don't understand it, but apparently, I think every medium has like different plus points and minus points in terms of sound quality in particular.
Yeah. I wish I'd kept hold of some of my tapes, actually. I had an enormous collection of tapes, cassette tapes. They sounded pretty shit though at the time, so even at the time they didn't sound very good.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favourite.
the sound quality, not the music.
Yeah, one of my favourite sort of shops actually sells a lot of retro stuff, not just vinyl, but but tapes, cassette tapes, and old video games.
Betamax.
Yeah, because I mean that does make a bit of a comeback.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing like when you put the box in the machine and you hear it kind of like, is it going to properly work, or is it going to sort of sound a bit scrambled and everything? So.
And I think he's digitising a lot of media. There's a potential of it being lost. Like, for example, if Netflix or Paramount suddenly decide, we're not going to show this anymore, then he's kind of gone.
Yeah, I think we should save it. Save this media for posterity. So that's another thing we're going to do on Nowsville is International Singles Day.
Yes.
And saving rare old media. It didn't sound very good at the time, but it's quite nice to handle.
I mean, it's kind of when you sort of say, in the past we had less choice. Like there was literally the BBC up until about 1955, and then you got ITV, and then eventually But in those days, a lot of programming basically has been destroyed because it will sort of go out live, and then the material sort of used to sort of record it and air it, it'd be wiped over.
Yeah, they'd tape over it, they'd film over it again. Doctor Who had a lot of episodes lost like that.
Yeah.
Great. It's not great, but it's
not great
really
for Doctor Who.
Interesting. And I think I do know some people who are well into Doctor Who, so they might be able to throw some light on the missing.
You do get, you do get people who are made off-air recordings of, particularly radio programs.
Filming the TV.
Yeah, or for example, like with radio, Tony Hancock and Denizen of Birmingham. There was a period in his radio show where he took a leave of absence, and he had Harry Seacombe basically took over Hancock's half hour for a time.
Right.
But because of the way that they, I don't know if you call it short term, because of the short term nature of recording over, getting rid of stuff, or using other stuff. Some of the performances have been lost.
Okay, that's a shame.
But they can. Some people can actually kind of get use off air recordings and sort of remaster it, and you actually get a thing. It's quite it's interesting.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Niche interest. That's another thing that we can explore.
Yes,
in Nowsville.
Yeah.
But I just feel that we're coming to the end of our recording today, Tom. What do you think? It's very warm in here, isn't it? So maybe
It's quite nice. Yeah, yeah.
maybe you know
Quite nice.
we're not going to last too much longer without sort of like slightly fading away.
Well, no, it's been very cold this week. I'm sort of looking forward to winter ending because
I thought you were going to say I'm looking forward to winter next year, and I was thinking, are you mad?
Why?
Exactly.
Why? You know, it's sort of it just seemed exceptionally cold, and to be fair, I left the house in a bit of a rush.
It is really cold. Well, thank you for rushing over.
Well, not just this morning. Not just for.
Okay. Yeah,
I was here earlier than I anticipated.
You were actually.
Yes. There was supposed to be a snow bomb at some point, but it didn't materialise.
Yeah, I'm grateful for that. But you know, to be honest, it doesn't make much difference because it's been so cold that it could have.
I mean, to be fair, I quite like snow to look at.
Yeah.
But probably to be out in or try and do stuff or certainly drive, it's a bit of a. It is a bit hairy.
Yeah, but have you noticed that once it snowed and then it thawed, everywhere looks a lot dirtier?
That's true, really muddy. I've noticed a lot of cars and other things that look dusty, you know, and they're not. Okay. Although, mind you, the other day I did sort of come out and my car, a pigeon had decided to choose my car bonnet to do its business on. So
it's supposed to be lucky though, Tom.
I hope it is.
Yeah, so there you are. That's a good note to end on because, you know, it might be your lucky week.
Fingers crossed.
So have a lucky week.
Thank you.
And
you too.
It's been great to talk to you.
Yes, thank you.
Looking forward to speaking to you again, Tom. So, yeah. Good on you, mate.
Thank you.
Okay, see you again.
Bye.
Bye.